Hello there! Remember a while ago when I said that there'd be a video coming that you really ought to watch because it will be sort of super exciting and wonderful? This is that. Of course, just how super exciting and wonderful it actually is remains to be seen once you've actually watched it. What I have to show you today in this truly haul to end all hauls came to me via some, I can only assume, rather poor soul, who brought in a load of stuff to my dad's shop, and my dad offered him, well, looking at what is here, an amount of money that isn't really worth what they are worth, and he seemed quite happy with that. And I can only assume he must have really needed the money, because to part with what he parted with for £100, that's madness to me. Basically, more than a month ago, my dad got these into his shop, told me that he'd got them, I was speechless and promptly forgot about it all until I ended up coming home. I guess though there was a good reason for me to forget about all this. Something did seem to overshadow everything, and it had all right to. I was heading home that particular time because after a few weeks of being quite ill, my nan passed away that weekend, and I came home because I felt that's where I needed to be with my family and everyone that sort of needed a bit of support, and I guess I needed a bit too. And a couple of days into my stay at home, my dad came and brought all this stuff over, and it cheered me up immensely, and I think the memories of that are going to live with me for a long time. So all of this stuff I've got to show you has very quickly gained a very large sentimental sort of connection, but nonetheless it's all awesome. Gird yourselves now, because when I say that everything I have to show you here is a stone cold classic, I'd be careful of your trousers during this video because they might explode. Let's start things off in, well, I'll go through the order that I went through it all. It tends to go from pretty cool to mind-blowing. So let's start with the pretty cool stuff in no particular order, but of course with the best first. We have a host of G1 mini-bots. Swerve! I've got a G1 Swerve! Quest. This guy is just... I love him, mainly because of more than meets the eye, yes, and his characterisation in that, but he's just such a nice little classic-y G1 robo. Look, he's even got all the vents and stuff that he gets drawn like with in More Than Meets the Eye. And a very red face. He hasn't got any eyes painted in, and it's just all red. It looks like his face has been sort of melted slightly, but it's lovely. Look at him. He's got his lovely little red and white GP mode, and just nice. Then we have Warpath. I like him. I really do. He's obviously really awkward in robot mode, just with this sort of massive shelf that his head and everything seem to sit on, and the weird sort of legs. But it's just nice to have him, and I've sort of, got out my Generations version and compared him, and you can really see where they take all the design cues from that. Even the silver treads that the Generations one has, it all comes from this guy, and he's just got a lot of charm. Blam. Kazow. Or Zurge, as I heard him say in one episode. Tank mode is lovely, and like most of the things I want to show you today, he's in dazzlingly good condition. Although I don't think any of the rub signs work anymore. I haven't been able to generate enough heat. Then we have Brawn, who is obviously very, very strange. What's with the wings and the weird claws, and he looks nothing like Brawn really, apart from the fact that his head is sort of in this box. But still, he's nice, he's got all the stickers, and he's in really good condition, and this is the first of the things I'm going to show you that has nearly perfect chrome. There's a little bit of wear on him, but G1 Brawn, people. Just look at that Jeep. Lovely little chrome grille. Next up is Huffer, with his incredibly weird arms that just seem to sit completely the wrong way round. But it's Huffer. It's G1 Huffer. He's nice, and just, again, full of charm, and there hasn't really been a sort of new version of this guy, I suppose, maybe. You could count the power core combine as one, but he's not orange, and you can't really top some of these little guys. Again, he's got nearly perfect chrome on these smokestacks, and you know, the stuff on his grill there as well. It's just a nice little truck. Now we get to squint at Cosmos, who has had something awful happen to his rub sign on his feet there, but there we go. Don't quite know what to say. It's Cosmos. You know, all the inherent problems that this guy has are here. You can see them. He has the sort of classic thing where some of the red paint on the top of his head is coming away, where it's been pulled up to transform so many times, and he hasn't got any eyes painted in, but he's got a lovely shiny sticker on the front, and you know, it's an odd Mexican robot that turns into a green flying saucer. I mean, what do you say? Now we have Powerglide, who could be one of the, I don't know, worst condition bots that I have in this haul to show you. This sort of wing bit isn't connected anymore. I mean, it's quite obvious there should be a pin going through there, and somehow that isn't there anymore. So that comes off and flops around. And he's got a massive stress mark on his foot down there, or his wing, whichever you want to call it. But again, tons of charm and a fun little plane mode. Now we have Grumpy Old Gears. There were actually two of him, and this is the one which is the least floppy. He's a nice, you know, just little G1-y looking bot. For some reason his arms are both a different shade of blue. Almost suggests they're made out of something different. Or fading, I don't know. But there, it's Gears. It's a blue Jeep. Yippee. Now we have a figure which I already have, but it's safe to say this one is in incredibly better condition. It's Beachcomber, and he has all four of his tyres, and the roll cage isn't all bent. It's just nice to have a version of him that is, you know, nice. I mean, I really like the other one anyway, and that was all beaten up, and so this guy just acts as a nice replacement. And last of the mini-bots, we have Cliffjumper, who I'm having to be very careful with because his arm comes off, and I've got no idea how to fix it because it looks like it's just a sort of metal pin that should be in there, and I really don't know how that's come out. So he has a bit of a precarious robot mode, and that's a shame because it's really nice to have one of these guys. A really quintessential minibot, and I just don't want to handle him because his arm keeps falling off. And of course, for his incredibly super deformed vehicle mode, that means that half of his wheels fall off at any given time. Still, it's got a nice shiny bit on the back. Okay, deep breaths now, because we're going to step it up a gear and start to look at the guys I actually have boxes for. Yes, boxes. All of the rest of the things I'm going to show you have been kept in their original boxes, and they have their instructions as well. What up, people? G1 Twin Twist in his box with all the mental artwork on the back. Old school instructions too, like you'd actually need them. It's very safe to say I quite like Twin Twist. He is just a babe. Look at him. It's just such a nice old school robot. He's all chunky and he's got a huge grin on his face. Look how happy he looks. And his gun is perfect chrome. Apart from, for some reason, right on the barrel there, and I think on the corresponding end of the cylinder of his handle. But look at it, it's perfect G1 chrome from 1985. This guy just has so much character, even though he's got loads of wonky stickers. Might get some repro labels, but I don't know, I think there's something nice about having the original stickers on here, even if they are wonkily applied, because it just shows, you know, at least he was played with. And there's his vehicle mode with yet more perfect chrome on the drill bits. And I can show you visual proof that he still jumps. Although it's pretty bloody hard to get that on camera. Take one. Take two. Take three. Take four. Take five. Take six. Boxed bot number 2, we have Ratchet. Well, there he is in his box. Lovely, lovely. Complete with tech spec decoder, instructions, the old sticker sheet, a leaflet to join the stars, a bag of bits including this thing, and 3 missiles, 2 of which are still on the sprue. And more lovely chrome. Moving on to the Ratchman himself, take a look at this lovely little old ambulance. Isn't it nice? Proper rubber tyres and everything, and you can feel there's a good helping of die cast in here. It's just a shame the top doesn't really want to stay closed. Feels like there's just too much stuff crammed in there and I can't really work out how it's meant to sit. Anyway, take the top off the ambulance and you get this funny, I don't know, battle station thing. Could be a sort of medibay thing, you know, maybe take this bit off and lay someone on here and that could do some repairs on him. It's Ratchet, he's a medic, you know, that fits. Use your imagination, that's what it is in my mind. Because the alternative of him sitting on this, flying around shooting people is maybe taking it a bit too far. So yes, here is Ratchet's objectively awful robot mode that somehow still seems to be pretty good. And somewhere behind that windscreen is a sticker that looks a bit like the Obey face, and you know that's meant to be his head. It's a G1 Ratchet. So much character in this thing, even if it doesn't look anything like him, you can't say no. More perfect chrome. And next up we have Mint in box, because he's still got the sort of cardboardy plastic thing that he'd sit in. Springer! Yes, the entire Transformers world is currently going mad for that new Generations Voyager triple changer, and I've got the original right here, and of course the new one would be vastly superior. But anyway, let's take a look at the OG version. Along with him sat in his plasticky thing, which is already open, don't get your hopes up. I've got his gun, which has to be said is less than perfect chrome, a lot of the green is showing through. More instructions, and one of these ultimate battle flyers. It's a G1 product catalog poster! So here is the man of the hour in his beefy and, well, you know, slightly awkward looking robot mode. I mean, he hasn't really got any feet. And his sword is a bit floppy, but it's still there. It's all here. He's got his sword, he's got his gun. Got some very tight joints as well. And this makes me think that how often were any of these played with by this guy? It makes me a little bit sad, but at least now I can enjoy them to their fullest. Or as much as, you know, a 30-year-old toy will let you enjoy. What's that I hear you say? Show off all the modes? Here's his funky helicopter mode. You know, that spins, it's a helicopter. It's got some fists up here, but I'm used to that from Armada Cyclonus, so, you know, it's a helicopter. You've got a cockpit and you've got a bit on the front and you've got stuff at the back and you know, space. It's cool, you know, it's just a really nice design. Shift it around a bit and you've got a car. I don't know what planet this car would live on. Presumably Cybertron, because where are the wheels on the back? It's sort of in where the back rotor would have been on the helicopter, and it's got thrusters and, you know, a cockpit. But it's an armoured car, it rolls along, it's got rubber tyres on the front, and 3 modes, people. This is, you know, an old school triple changer. Does almost make you wonder which figure they put more effort into. This old one or the new one that's come out. Now we've got all those appetizers out of the way. Lovely, beautiful things that they are. You're just not prepared for the main course that is to come here. It is beef aplenty. I could not believe what I was seeing when I first got hold of these, because it's enough to make my eyes melt right out and then grow another pair and then have them melt out again. I was so just ecstatic to even have this thing in my hands in the condition it's in, and then the thing afterwards as well. And it's hard to put into words how much these two next things sort of mean to me. Holy Grail isn't exactly a strong enough word. I was just astounded. You never see these things in the condition that they're in, and once I'd had one of them for a little while and realised something about that made it even better. It's just too much to handle sometimes. I just look at these things on my shelf and just go, is that really on my shelf? So, good fine loins. Ooh, get ready for this. Dum 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 dum. It's a $1 million box G1 Optimus Prime. It's all the stuff on the back, and I mean, yeah, let's face it, the box it's seen better days, but it's in the box. Not anymore, it isn't. Look at this truck. Oh god, it's got all more lovely chrome and all the big stickers, and it's in such good condition. The rubber on the tyres is like it's brand new, and there is no paint wear, and all the stickers look fresh, and oh my god. And the best bit, it hasn't got a rub sign, which means it's an 84 original. I'll just let you get your head around that for a minute. What I'm holding is 30 years old, and it looks like it could have come off a shelf yesterday. Let's get down to business then and show you what you got here. We've got some instructions, got the little book that says Warrior Robots in Disguise, has no mention of Megatron anywhere, and calls Soundwave a cassette man. This is some old school stuff right here. Oh, got another TechSpec decoder. Actually, I think there's 2 in this box, so one of them must be Springer's. Another bag of bits, which belies this Optimus as being approximately 98% complete, because we've got the hose and the petri thing, but no bit to go on the end. 3 missiles? Are they meant to be 4? I can't quite tell. His fists, of course, which I chipped one of them the other day and proceeded to lose it a bit because I was like, no! And you can probably almost see there I've chipped part of that off at the top where he holds his gun. All I was doing was putting the gun in his hand, and I saw a bit of plastic fly away and proceeded to poo myself. Anyway, let's continue. You have his gun, which is of, the odd style that he doesn't actually hold the handle of it, and he can't quite hold it straight. Everyone knows that. And then there's a couple of empty sprues, but they're worth keeping because of what this thing is. Opening up the trailer, there is just another wealth of beautiful stickers. There's Roller, and he's nice, and look at all of this inside here. Gaze upon its loveliness and weep. Go! I don't think the shooty along launching gimmick works properly anymore. The spring makes a weird noise, and as far as I can tell, it's meant to launch things a bit further than that, but maybe it isn't. I don't know. I know that over here they neutered all the missile launchers so they don't actually launch things, so maybe they had to dumb this down a bit. I don't know. If you do know, please tell me, because I'd like to know whether this is knackered or not. And then up here you've got the funny robot thing with the bit that twists round and the claw for repairing people, and oh no, I haven't put missiles in. There, that's better. Although, saying what I just said a minute ago, I think these, yep, they actually launch, so disregard what I just said. But this is only the trailer, and I can't get over how nice this is. All the little stickers made to little screens and things, and do I need to tell you? You should probably already have figured out that I have had all the mini bots stood in here, and as if it's a base, and I have actually played with these. I'm not ashamed to say I have played with these venerable old G1 figures because that's what they deserve, and hell, I've hardly even seen any of these, let alone handled them as rigorously as I have. I think I'm allowed that right. But of course, all that aside, here we have the main event, people. Look at that. I'm holding a G1 Optimus Prime with all the die cast in his legs and the good old click, and it's got a metal chest and it folds down, and You know, I need to try putting a matrix in there, I think. I have put some little Micro Machine stormtroopers in there as if they're driving, which of course is wholly inappropriate, but I got a laugh out of it. Just look at this thing! Ah, it is... It's just it, isn't it? The icon of our fandom, and it stands proudly on my shelf with its glistening chrome. I can't tell you how much I love this thing. It's just... to have one at all is just mind-blowing to me. To have one in this good condition, with all the stickers, all the chrome, everything. He's got his gun, he's got the spits on his shoulders, and perfect rubber tyres. It's just too much sometimes. Behold the pinnacle of my collection. But it might not be, I've still got one more thing to show you. But I just can't get enough of this. One slightly sad thing to point out though is you might be able to tell this leg has some darker chrome going on. It's not as shiny or bright. I noticed it a couple of days after I'd sort of got all these out, and I thought, oh god, have I done that? Am I wearing away the chrome somehow? Are they reacting with the air? I don't know. And I don't know, I guess it must just have been like that. It's just maybe not such a thick application of the vac metal stuff on there, because I presume it is like black or probably blue plastic underneath. So I hope it's okay. Please don't tell me that it isn't, because I'll poo myself again. Oh, and there was this weird odd grill looking bit in the box, which is obviously nothing to do with Optimus, but I'd still like to sort of know what it is. Is it off another Transformer, or is it just something completely odd and I should just throw away? Who knows? Okay, remember when I said that this could be a trouser exploding experience watching this video? You may want to go and put on a fresh pair, because after what you may have seen with Optimus and all of the amazing lovelytude of that, it's about to get stepped up a notch, and while I didn't think that was possible, it is, because what I've got to show you next is A, bigger, and B, more complete, I guess. This is 100% mint in box figure that would probably go for, God knows, like at least twice what the guy got for selling these to my dad. So without further ado, G1 Jetfire, everybody! Mint in box. Yeah. Yep. That's some good stuff. Yeah. Drink it in. This is very, very big, and there is some lovely art here, and you've got all the armour bits there, and the jet is bone white, not an ounce of yellowing or fading. Got the gun, got the funny little post thing, and like what, a good square foot of original G1 art on the back. Tell me it gets better than this. Tell me, and I will tell you you are lying to me. So we have polystyrene tray number 1 containing all of the armour and a tech spec decoder. And then we have the main event with Jetfire himself and some badass looking instruction art there, which I can only assume is nicked from the original Macross version. This thing is the sticker sheet, and almost looks like, I don't know. Keep looking at it thinking there's some still left on here, but there aren't, and it's quite obvious that there were quite a lot of stickers here. And well, here's my colossal die-cast jet. What have you got? Would you just look at this thing? It's so nice. I mean, obviously, it isn't really a Transformer. I mean, well, yeah, it is, but it's one of the moulds that Hasbro nicked from someone else in Japan, and then Takara couldn't really do anything about it. Yeah, so it's, you know, a good big example of an old Macross figure, But no, this is G1 Jetfire because it's got a gigantic shiny Autobot sticker on the nose cone. It's just such a nice jet and it's huge, and you've got guns under here that's obviously his noggin, but you know. And then you could go and stick on all the power bits to it, and I can't really be asked to do that, but yeah, might as well. That's pretty much the gist of it. I don't think that's all of everything you're meant to clip on, but you've got to be careful with this stuff, to be honest. I watched Mr. John 35's review of this figure, which was the first time I really realised how big it was and just how possibly fragile all the sort of armour bits are, because even with the care he's taken with his, he snapped a couple of bits, and I've got to admit there is a snapped bit on this one, but I don't want to go causing any more. So there you go, there's the jet with the big thrusters on the top and more Autobot symbols, and it's just lovely, lovely, lovely. Did I mention his spring-loaded landing gear? And they're metal as well, and they roll with metal wheels. This is just, it's another level, man. It's off the chain. Well then, suppose I better transform it, hadn't I? And there you have it, your basic G1 Jetfire. It's just sort of suddenly dawned on me that I'm showing this to you. It's G1 Jetfire in my hand. It's all metal and insane click! Ooh lordy, there's someone else. I could do this all day. Up here he might be getting a little bit rusty, which is something I should keep an eye on. But God, look at it! It's massive, and I'm finding it very hard to find words with which to describe this, because look at it. It's beyond description. The simple fact that I'm holding a G1 Jetfire that is complete is quite beyond the description of my meagre brain. Let's stick some armour on him! This is where I can show you the bits that are broken. See that? That's meant to have 2 pegs. And the other one is stuck in here. So, that's it. That is the extent of the damage to this figure, as far as I can tell. You might have a few misplaced stickers and you might be getting ever so slightly rusty, but that's it. That's all that's broken. 1 peg. And there you have it. It's fully armoured up. He's got the bits on his arms that are, sort of guns in there, maybe. I don't know. And he's got more stuff on his legs. And it is a little bit time consuming. You've got to really sort of sit down and just be careful, because I don't want to snap anything else. But look at it. This bit on his leg, though, doesn't want to sort of stay clipped around there. This is the one with both pegs, and you can sort of tell that maybe having both pegs makes it a bit too tight. It just doesn't really quite sit properly. This bit's meant to go all the way round his shin, and it just doesn't want to. The one with the broken peg sits a lot more comfortably, probably because there's not so much pressure on it. If you want to see what that funny mounting thing does, it sort of goes on his arm here, and for some reason, instead of him just holding it in his hand, you can then stick his gun in there. Why that's any better, I don't know, and I'm not entirely sure this works on the other arm, which hasn't got a hand hole, so it seems a bit superfluous to me. And I'm not going to lie, it's a miniature nightmare getting the gun sort of in and out of that bit. But there you go. You've had a look at my Jetfire now until complete, like, there you have it. That is my haul that will never be bettered, because I must have gained a good, God knows, it must be a good 300 or 400 quid's worth of plastic here, considering the condition that it's all in and the age. I'm blown away. Every time I get all this lot out and look at it, I can't believe how lucky I am to have it all. I'd be eternally grateful to the guy who sold it all to my dad, because he has given me the motherload here. And this wasn't even everything that he sold, because there was a Starscream, which I didn't want because I have the reissue, and you know, there really isn't any difference apart from like the missiles being longer. And there was a Blur as well, and I don't really care for his design. And considering the fact that I owe my dad a good, you know, £100 for all this lot, I didn't really want to push it too far. Anyway, I hope I haven't destroyed your trousers too badly. You know, I don't really want to have to reimburse anyone for a couple of pairs of jeans, but if, you know, they have exploded off of you, then I fully understand. I'm also quite happy to receive claims of eye melting, hair explosion, and just general face loss, because I think that's all that this is really sort of worthy of. Like I said, and had most of my face burned away by the awesome and the sort of light generated by all the chrome, yeah, and then my fingers sort of crumbled to dust under the awesome metal and the click. Remember all those weeks ago when I said the best is yet to come? I think it just came. I don't think it's going to get any better than this. I mean, I'm never going to have an episode of TWIT that's going to top this kind of haul. So thank you for watching, and you know, prepare yourselves for it all going sort of downhill from here, because I'm never going to top all of this lot. I don't see how. And I sure as hell know you're not going to be as excited for me to show you a bot shot and a Voyager Starscream next time. Oh, I'm just giving it away. You haven't got any point in watching now. Ta-ra then!